Welcome to Stardew Valley. We're gonna start off, it's spring day 5, and we're gonna check our TV, of course. If you haven't already seen the first episode, go ahead and watch the first episode where I started. This is a brand new series for me. I haven't really played Stardew Valley all that much, so if I do something wrong, just know I'm a noob. So I left my house and I checked my mail, and I had seen that Joja had mailed me a letter saying that I can now mine, essentially, is what they said. And my screen kept doing this glitching thing, as you can see. And it did it throughout the day, so I ended up having to switch TV monitors. I've been using this old, Dell that I've gotten from my dad, who got it from his work. So this is, not, a gaming monitor at all. But it works. It's functional. It just glitches every once in a while. But I think I'm going to try and get a new one and switch it out so that I can play better. So I picked up all of my parsnips and I ran over to Pierre's. It was too early, so I checked some of the trash cans and I ran to the beach to see if I could forage anything at the beach. I hoed some worms, found a lost book, and just sort of scavenged around and explored a bit. And I found another lost book. I do know that I can spend 300 coins, and I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do it later. But I then talked to Shane and Alex, who said some problematic things. And then I sold my parsnips to Pierre and bought 20 seeds. Then I went through the list and I bought at least one of every seed that he was offering so that I could do the community center, which I will open in a few days. Then I walked over to Abigail's mom, Caroline, and completed my quest of meeting everyone in the village. She was the last one. I had forgotten that was who it was. Easy fix. Started to run back to my farm and plant those crops that I had just gotten and water them. Now, because I've already played this game, the other save file that I've played, I think I'm just about to go into winter, so I haven't exactly gotten the brutality of winter yet. And as much as I want to do well in this game, I've realized that in order to do well in this game, you really just have to, get enough money. So that's gonna be the goal, and I don't know the most lucrative things. I know parsnips are really good, especially because they take so quick to grow. So I'm gonna invest a lot of parsnips. Right now I'm doing 20 because I think that that's pretty manageable with my watering can and my energy level. So right now I've just decided I'm gonna clean up my farm a little bit, move around some things. I moved around my chest because I didn't like it in front of my house. And then I just went through and I'm going to pickaxe and chop all of the wood and all the stones to hopefully get a better space so that I can eventually put down my coop somewhere. And I've been thinking about where I want to put down my coop and how I want my farm to be set up because, naturally I have so much space and it's going to get used up pretty quickly. So I have to start thinking about where I'm going to put my animals. And if you have any recommendations on where the best places are to put those things, do let me know so that I can play this game to the best of my ability. So because it was still so early, I decided to take out some things, run to Pierre's, and see if I could sell some shells and some dandelions or daffodils. I couldn't sell the shells, so I decided to just run around and gift them to people, which also completed another quest. And as I was gifting people things, I just decided to talk to some people, hopefully raise some hearts, and checked on the community center, still locked. And yeah, just explored around the village a bit. Of course, I had to go check in on the bridge that Joja said that they had made, and looked at the Adventurer Guild and the bridge that I can eventually rebuild, although I've never gotten to that area yet. I'm scared of the mines. I've gotten down to maybe level 40 before. But I don't know, it's hard. And you don't get all the resources you want. And I think the thing that scares me the most is I lose track of time. And then I just, it's like midnight. And I'm like, oh shit, I have to run back. And then I don't make it in time. So my screen kept glitching. So I decided to pause for that day and would come back at a moment when I could actually have a monitor that wouldn't be glitching out all the time. So I connected it to my TV and it ended up working out pretty well. So I loaded up my save and we started the next day with, of course, checking our weather and our forecast. Then we watered our plants, of course. And I hate watering plants. I think the reason why I stopped playing Stardew Valley is because I never upgraded my watering can, and this is so annoying. Especially if you want to water multiple cans. I've gotten it so that I filled an entire can and watered the entire crop on just one can, I think, and that ends up working out pretty well for me. So after I watered my crops, I just kept going through my farm and looking around to see what I had, and chopping some trees, gathering some fiber and grass as I went along. And as you can notice, I've got a lot of space, right? But certain resources are gathered in certain spots more than others. So there's a bunch of tree stumps in one spot, and there's a bunch of rock stumps in another. And part of me wanted to keep this theme, but I also wanted to just make sure that I was focusing on making a nice path. And that entrance down at the bottom, right underneath the pond, is inconveniently placed. I don't like that it's placed right with the pond above it, but that's okay. I'm just gonna make a path around the pond on either side. So I started just chopping and scything and cutting all the things I could cut to make it a clear path. I love the sound that the trees make when they fall and how you collect it and the little bloop, bloop, bloop sound it makes. So I was enjoying my time just chopping and using up all the energy I could possibly use. So once I went through and I had cut everything and I was feeling exhausted, I decided to go and see if I could create some field snacks. I remember them giving you a lot of energy and being really helpful on the field, obviously, hence their name. And I was able to create 2, and I ate them both, and I kept on going. I kept on working. There was a few other trees that I wanted to cut down just to make sure that I knew where I was going. I cut down those trees specifically, and then I realized I had a little bit of energy left over, so I was able to cut down another tree and a few other things around the area. I named the farm Ursonomic Farm just because I didn't know what to name it, but I at least hope you can change what it's called. And then I just decided to go to bed. I didn't have anything else to do. So I just ended out the day that day. Then I woke up and, of course, checked on our TV, our weather, and our fortune. And also, we were able to get a new recipe from the Queen of Sauce, stir fry. So then, of course, we went and started watering our plants, as always. It's so cute to see all the little plants grow differently when they're all placed next to each other. And there was a cute little butterfly. This game is so aesthetic and so pleasing to the eyes. Even just the butterflies that are around are just so precious. I'm in love with it. It's so fun, and I just cannot stop playing. I want to play and record my gameplay, but I'm having so much fun playing that I started playing my old save file again. And I realized just how far behind I was and how noobish I was. I didn't even buy the silo. I was just trying to sell a bunch of wood and collect a bunch of wood and sell it that way. And I realized my folly, now that I've been years and all that. But I'm going to try and really, really farm more this gameplay than my last run through. just because of course it's a farming game, and I should spend my time and energy farming, right? Instead of just chopping trees and mining a bunch. I made some more field snacks just to make some more space in my farm. It's starting to look a lot better, and there's like a lot more space for me to put down my coop eventually, but also for me to just expand my farms. I can't wait till I have sprinklers. I wasn't sure how the old sprinklers worked. I don't know how they work, and I don't know how to automate them. So I think I'm gonna wait until the like upgraded sprinklers, and I'm just gonna make sure to upgrade my watering can to the 3-year one, because I just think that'll be a lot easier for me, and more resource conscious. Then I decided to replant these trees down below. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them. I decided to go scavenging a little bit, and foraging, and go into town just to see what I can get. Vince did this really weird thing where he like climbed the side of the cliff. I don't know. Then I went around and talked to some people, checked in at Pierre's, and see if I could buy some more seeds. I ended up buying a few other parsnip seeds, and then I was done with that. Checked in some of the garbage, talked to some other people. Evelyn is very cute. I do like Evelyn, as you know, she's like the grandma of the city, and I really like that. Then I went down to the beach, and of course I hoed that sand, and I got a weird strange doll, and I don't know what that's for. I talked to Elliot. I hoed this weird other thing, and I got carrot seeds from that. So I just kind of went around to see if I could get anything else. I remember there being like a weird clay thing you could get at the beach, but I don't know. I went into the saloon to see who was in and what I could do, but nothing was really going on. So I wandered around, talked to Marnie. Then I went into the forest to see if Leia was home, picked up some dandelions along the way, and I went scavenging. And I found a patch of spring onions on the floor, and it looked like someone had planted them specifically. So, I mean, of course I still took every single one, but I felt really bad about it, and I felt like they were Leah's probably, although I don't know why they were placed so far from her house. But I just decided to take it as a sign, that they're my spring onions now. And as I just went along, exploring a little bit more, I saw Abigail, who was just wandering the forest, I guess. And at that point, it was already almost 9 o'clock, so I just decided to head home. But then I realized that I had a few seeds in my inventory, and I wanted to plant them so that I could at least have a day of growth, you know? And even though I was exhausted, I powered through and I planted the rest of my plants. I, of course, put all of my items back in the inventory, and as I was just about to head to bed, I realized, well, maybe I should sell some things. And I picked up a few things to sell, to put in the drop box, where Lewis will come by in the evening and gather your things. And then I went to sleep for the night, and I made some money overnight. And on to day 8. Of course, I checked my TV, and of course, it's another sunny day. And of course, there's another living off the land tip, which is about, fencing or whatever. And I checked my mail, and it was Robin. And Robin was talking about selling, stones and stuff. And then I started watering, and I realized a crow had come in the middle of the night and eaten one of my beans, and I was very frustrated. So, of course, I was plotting this entire time, and I wanted to make a scarecrow and place it right where the old bean was. So I checked my crafting bench just to see what I needed, and ironically, I needed fiber, which is the one thing that I sold the day before. So I got out my scythe, and I went through, and I got as much fiber from all the little grass seedlings as I could, and it actually worked. The scythe is really pleasing because it just works so well. And it works on multiple different grass starters. So I just ran around my little farm area. The day was a little funky one just because it was a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting around trying to figure out what to do next. But I got to see all the different sections of my farm. Like there's a pine section and then there's like an oak section. And finally I had enough fiber to buy the scarecrow and I placed it as a memorial for the lost bean. So no crows will come and ruin my crops again. And I was able to complete a few of the quests that I had, so I got some money from there. And then I sort of wandered around aimlessly. I didn't know what to do next. So I just sort of spent out my energy chopping some trees, and then I decided, well, I might as well see if I can visit Marnie. It's early enough. And of course, Marnie wasn't home. So I talked to Haley. I was able to catch her as she was taking pictures. I think that's one of her hobbies, which is so cute that she's a little photographer and she just wants to notice beautiful things. So I was going to check in and see if Marnie was out and about, and as I went, Marnie was heading back. So I waited till she got into her home, and I was hoping that I would be able to talk to her at the desk. So I waited so patiently, and then from 2 o'clock, she just started staring at the microwave. I don't know why. I don't know what she's doing. I thought her shop was open from 9 to 6 and I could check stuff and see how much the price of certain things cost. But I cannot. So I spent a lot of time in her house just sort of wandering around looking at Shane's room, and then I went outside and started chopping some things, wasting time, seeing if maybe she would go to her stand. And of course, no! She's still looking at the microwave. I don't know what's so interesting about the microwave, but it looks like even Jas is yeah, I don't know what she's doing, just staring at the microwave. So I just decided to call it quits, and I just ran around the forest, seeing if there was anything that I could pick up or forage, seeing if the wizard was open, and when he would, give me that weird acid trip when I can finally read those weird letters, those weird letters. I don't know where they're from, or what language they're a part of. But then I got frustrated and I didn't really know what to do. So I went back home and I placed down some of the mixed seeds that I had gotten from scavenging and scything about the place. And I put some of my stuff, my belongings back away, looked at my socials and realized I have no friends, just like IRL. And then I decided to go into town to do something about it. So I went into the saloon, and of course no one was there except for the regulars, Pam and Shane. So I went outside again and I ran into Cliff, and Cliff had this weird little thing about how he's a blacksmith, his dad is a blacksmith, and then his great-grandfather's a blacksmith. He's such a weirdo. Anyways, I went down to the beach to see what I could pick up. Picked up a shell, glass shards, but I don't really know what to do with those or how they're important. But as I came back up, I got a cutscene. I got the Linus cutscene. And I love this one because I'm able to give Linus, some love back. It's okay, buddy. Who cares? It's a shame for the food to go to waste. And Linus, I think, is the most sweetest character, and this interaction between him and Gus was so heartwarming, and it really changed my view on Gus. I didn't really remember him as a character before this, even though I think I've already seen this cutscene. But this was just so sweet. So I really enjoyed that cutscene. And of course, I decided to go around and check some of the trash cans too. And I didn't find anything, I think probably because Linus had already gone through them all. But then I remembered, I came in here for some friends, right? So I went back into the saloon to check to see if anyone else had arrived, and it was just Clint. So I decided to talk to Gus, Pam, and Emily just to say hello and maybe get some hearts. And at that point, I thought, it's time to go to bed. So I put some of the belongings I had back in my chest, and I headed to bed. I woke up the next day and it's the 9th of spring, and of course I checked my weather and all of that biz. And I had parsnips, they had just grown, so of course I gathered all those. And it's Tuesday, so I was able to go into town and sell them to Pierre. So I wanted to do that, but first I wanted to make sure I watered all my plants, so I did that first. And thankfully no crows had come and eaten my beans in the night, so that was a relief. So once I had finished watering all of the plants, I headed into town only to find a cutscene of the community center. Hey! It's community center time. Oh, hi there. What's up, Lewis? What an eyesore. Jeez, Lewis. This is Pelican Town's community center. Or what's left of it, anyway. It used to be the pride and joy of the town, always bustling with activity. Aw, I think it looks cute. Now just look at it. It's shameful. Jeez, Lewis. These days, the young folk would rather sit in front of the TV than engage with the community. But listen to me, I sound like an old fool. I mean, someone let the building get this dilapidated, and you are the mayor. Just saying, you know. Joja Corporation has been hounding me to sell them the land so they can turn it into a warehouse. Pelican Town could use the money, but there's some things stopping me from selling it, and I guess old-timers like me get attached to relics of the past. Ah, well. If anyone else buys a Joja Co membership, I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it. Here, let's go inside. Yay! Community center. I think last time I finished the foraging pack, and that was it. Everything else I couldn't do. What's this? I guess Vincent and Jas must have been playing in here. This place is even more dilapidated than I remember. What? It's the apple guy. What is him? What is the little green apple? Kurkomi or Tachika? I don't remember. What Oh, I was the only one who saw it? You saw something? I wouldn't be surprised if this place was full of rats. It wasn't a rat. A Kuromi? Right? You're worrying me, Urso. I'm fine. I'm chillin'. Look, I think I'm gonna head home. I need some lunch. Yeah, no worries. I saw nothing. Hey, I'll keep this place unlocked from now on. Maybe you can help catch the rat, if you have some extra time. Hey, let's go. Community center. Babi. Oh yeah, the wizard. The wizard's gotta help me translate it. I take like an acid trip or something, then I'm able to like understand their language. Super cool, very excited. And once the cutscene was done, I headed back out of the community center and went on my merry little way to go back to Pierre's. And I checked some of the trash cans, and after I did that, Pierre's was open. So I was able to sell him my parsnips and a daffodil and buy 20 more seeds. At this point, I had $1,000 in cash. So I bought one tulip to fill an empty space in my farm. and I thought this was pretty decent start. I didn't want to put any more plants on my farm than 20 because I just didn't think that I could handle more than that. So I went down to the beach to see if I could forage anything before going back to my farm to plant those parsnips. I met Willie. I was going to go in and buy a training rod, but after seeing Willie, I decided to go and see if I could fish on my own first. And as you can see, it is incredibly difficult for me, especially towards the end. At the beginning, it starts out pretty okay, but then I just lose track of it and the fish goes crazy and I just lost patience. And I do want to buy the training rod eventually, but you know, Willie has to be at the desk first. So whenever Marnie and Willie want to get their together and like actually be at their place of work, I would really appreciate it. Then I started hoeing the sand again to see if I could find some of the clay again. Did not. So I went looting through some trash cans in the city, and I went to go check to see if Marnie was back at her residence. And of course, she's not. So I went back home to plant my parsnips, but before I did, I wanted to see if it was easier to fish in my pond at home. And it is, but only because I'm getting trash. And it's just trash. I don't know why. Maybe I have to like clean out my ponds first or something. I don't know. But anyways, I went and planted all of my crops and watered them all. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's a good number. 20 is a good number to start with, especially with like the beans I have, and those are gonna be grown, I think, in a day or so. I think they should be done on like the 10th maybe, or the 11th. But as I finished that, I decided, I was like, you know what, we'll just keep fishing and see if it becomes easier to fish. That's all I need, is I just needed to become easier to fish. And I just kept getting trash. And it was such a vibe though, because there's this little woodpecker down at the bottom, and there was all these little bird noises, and it's twittering, and the woodpecker, and just, yeah, it was just such a vibe. I was heavy chilling out right there. And I realized why everyone loves this game so much. Not only is it such a beautiful game, but it's just like, it's easygoing, and it's challenging in certain areas, but it doesn't have to be. You can turn it into whatever you want it to be. There's no direction, but there's also no pressure for it to become a certain way. So I really enjoyed this playthrough, and I hope you did too. I hope you come back for the next one. And that's it from me. This is Ursonomic signing out. Peace.